Minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hi there, this is James Valvis coming at you today with a new FreeForm. It's a special day for me. It's my 10-year wedding anniversary. My wife and I were together 20 years, but the first 10 were in sin, and then I converted and decided that marriage was the way to go. But before that, we had had a long time together, and our marriage was a common law marriage well before we were actually married. But today is our 10-year anniversary. We've been together 20 years. It will be 20 years in early September, I believe September 1st. So we've been together a long time, and I wanted to talk about, what makes a relationship or a marriage work. What makes it work in a time when there's so much failure in relationships, especially in marriages, which I consider to be the ultimate promise that one person makes to another person. And when we talk about a vow, what does a vow mean? It means a vow. It does not mean, oh, we'll get married until which time. It does not suit me to be married anymore. That is not a vow. That's something less than a promise. It is a business arrangement at best. It's one of the reasons why we started calling people partners. Never heard this crap. You didn't call people partners in 1600 AD or whatever. They didn't call them This is my partner. Could you just see, George Washington saying, well, this is my partner over here. George Washington probably a bad example because he was not the most faithful guy in the world. But there were, you can't really imagine this idea that you were, in some kind of business arrangement with someone. This was something well beyond that. Something that was tied to God and history and culture and country. It was the deepest, most meaningful thing that a person could do with another person. It was not a joke, a lark. And it had at its root, and it still has as its root, the begetting and the maintaining of children. The two becoming one, becoming more than one, becoming more than themselves. And out of their love, seeding the world with not only a future for mankind, but also something greater than itself. And so this pedestrian view of marriage that we have, where let's give marriage to everybody because it doesn't mean much. I mean, when they started talking about people's partners, you just knew that marriage was just going to go down the tubes. It doesn't mean what it used to mean. As soon as they had no fault divorce, gay marriage was an inevitability. As soon as they had gay marriage, incest marriage was an inevitability. As soon as they have that, then people will be marrying their trees and their dogs. And you think that this is, oh, how could you say this? You must be a bigot against homosexuals or something of that sort. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that marriage itself has no meaning anymore. It is completely meaningless to the culture. When you say marriage, nobody thinks of that as a lifelong thing. It is a temporary arrangement in which two people, while they are thrilled enough to be with one another's company, will endure it. And then once it is not in their desires to endure it, they're gone. Now, some people just happen to endure it for a long time, and some people a short time, but you can't really judge between the two. Each one is no better than the other. But I want to talk about not why marriage has gone wrong. We know why marriage has gone wrong, because we live in a culture of me, a culture of what benefits me. And there was never a reason why you should enter a marriage because it will make you happy. That's not why you enter a marriage. It's wrong. It's a wrong idea. Oh, you make me so happy. Wrong. That's the last thing. That's the last thing you should be thinking about. What you should be thinking about is, oh, I want to make you happy. That's why you enter a marriage. I want to give to you. I want to protect you. I want to support you. I want your dreams to be my dreams. I want your happiness to be my happiness. I want your child to be my child. I want your home to be my home. And everything that I have, I want you to have. And then some. That is how you should enter a marriage. That is how you should see the relationship. The idea that you enter a marriage because this person makes you happy. What happens when they stop making you happy? Listen, this happens with everybody. Everybody. I've been with a woman for 20 years now. And before that, I was with other women. And let me tell you something. People have not bad days. We know about the bad days. Everybody says, oh, we had a bad day. What happens when they have a bad month? Or they have a bad season? Or they have a bad year? What then? See, if you don't have a real vow, then you don't have anything. Because eventually you're going to say, oh, the heck with you. You're not making me happy anymore. For 6 months, you've made me miserable, and now I'm leaving. But that's not the way it goes. See, when I was young, I was a long distance runner, and boy, I wish I still was, because I could use that kind of exercise. But when I was a long distance runner, and you would run and run and run. You do this with riding too. I found you would run and run and run and run, and you would get no improvement at all, and then you would break free. You would break free. You would break through, and you would get to the next level of accomplishment. Your mile time would come down. Your marathon sessions would become easier, and so on. Same with writing. You go along at a certain level, and then you're improving, and then you stop improving, you plateau. And then you might even sink, you might even regress for a while. That's the worst. Let me tell you something. You've been writing for a while, and you've written some really good stuff, and maybe you got Best American Poetry like I did or something like that, done something incredible, you had some real success, and then you go into a lull. You go into a plateau in which you're the same, or then you hit a valley, and you actually regress. And you're like, what the heck is this? Well, if that happens in a marriage, where the person, you're going along with a certain level of happiness, and then all of a sudden he loses his job, or all of a sudden she has breast cancer, or all of a sudden he's not able to smile in the mornings anymore because his depression is getting to him too much, or all of a sudden she is can no longer stay in your family. Who knows what it is? Who knows what the problem is? Now all of a sudden you have issues, and if you don't have a vow backing up those issues, forget about it. And so there's one thing that is the cure-all for all this stuff. It's the cure-all for running, it's the cure-all for writing, and it's the cure-all for marriage. And that is the emotion of gratitude. Gratitude is the emotion that will fix everything in your life, period. Doesn't matter what the hardship, doesn't matter what the circumstances. If you live in a state of gratitude, you will overcome whatever problems you have. And even if you don't overcome them, you will learn to live with them, and you will learn to be happy despite them. It's not just a matter of, oh, now I'm living with you, and we walk by each other like, trains in the night or something. No, if you feel real gratitude for your spouse, you feel real gratitude for your wife. And remember, I've talked about this before. There is the relationship, the idea that someone has given their entire life to you, or they've dedicated their entire life. This person has said, I'm sometimes amazed by it. Sometimes I look at my wife and I think, geez, I hardly even know you. Who are you anyway? And this is the person I know best in the world. And I'm like, why have you decided on me? That's really strange. In some ways, it's like Groucho Marx. I don't want to be part of any club that would have me as a member. Well, I'm not so sure about my wife that would have me as a husband. But but when you look at that, you consider that this person has given all their time and effort and put all the trust and happiness of their happiness in your hands. Sometimes when I'm walking around at night, and everybody's asleep, 'cause I'm up a lot at night because I like to write in the cool, or I like to walk late at night when there's not so many cars on the road, or so I stay up overnight, and then I usually nap during the day. But I walk around the house, and my wife is there sleeping, and my daughter's there sleeping, and the cat's there sleeping, and I think, this is great. Here they are, 3 women, well, 2 women and a feline of death, who trust me enough to put themselves in the most vulnerable position anybody's ever in life, which is when they're sleeping, with me right in the room with them. I could do anything to them. They don't know what I do to them, and yet they have no question at all about their own safety and their own ability. And if you don't feel a sense of gratitude toward that, and you don't feel a great sense of both obligation and gratitude, then there's something wrong with you. Everything about my wife makes me feel grateful. Everything. And when you feel gratitude towards somebody like that, when you feel a great gratitude to them, and you feel gratitude that they've been with you, that they're with you, then you don't do all the horrible things that lead to a divorce. Most times lead to a divorce. When my first wife was married to me, she was very young, and hard to know if she ever changed or not. She had a couple of marriages after me, and they didn't work out, so maybe not. But the idea that if you feel gratitude, if you're feeling gratitude for a person, say you're a young guy, you're kind of homely, and you're not very smart, and you don't have a lot of money, and Kate Upton or a beautiful woman like that throws themselves at you and says, oh, ravish me and take me away to your small little trailer in the trailer park, and you have this just gorgeous woman. What's the odds that he's going to do a lot of running around on her? Probably not a lot, because we'd be extremely grateful to her, and to have this beautiful girl, and especially if she's dedicated to him and treats him right and everything. So what I say is, you should have that gratitude. If you made a vow to your wife, what could possibly change to in the interim to make you less grateful? I mean, unless that person is abusive. And I don't just mean, oh, they had a bad day and they said a mean thing to you, or oh, they had a bad day and they gave you the silent treatment, or oh, they're having a bad week and they're just constantly frustrated and they've snapped at you a number of times. I'm talking about real abuse. I'm talking about hitting you, or just real emotional abuse where they're knocking you down in a horrible way all the time, or something of that nature. Unless they're doing that, You know, what exactly is your cause for discontent? Because everybody has bad times, everybody has bad moments, and everybody has bad seasons, and you're going to have to face that sometime or another. But if you come at this person with an idea of gratitude, with a feeling of gratitude, I can guarantee you that that will override everything. And you just have to remind yourself, you're going to get angry, that happens, but you have to sit back and be smart enough and sensible enough to say, okay, I'm angry, but what is it that I'm grateful about here? What do I really love about her? What have I always loved about her? What has she done for me in the past that makes me feel charitable toward her, more charitable than I would be toward some stranger on the street? And we see that all the time. We see people go, they go and they're very nice to the waitress who serves them their food, and then the wife says something and he snaps at her and she looks down or whatever. For some reason, we think that we can treat the people we're closest to in a way we would never treat a stranger. So I think that's the answer. Gratitude is the answer to all happiness. I really, truly believe that. If you fill your heart up with gratitude, it doesn't matter what it's toward, but especially toward the person you're married to and the person that you're raising, or the children that you're raising. If you fill your life, if you fill your heart up with gratitude for those people, you're not going to become disenchanted by them. Ultimately, I do think that there does come a point where gratitude can run out. A person has to at some point show some reciprocation in that gratitude, some reciprocation in the way they're treating you. It cannot just be one-sided forever. But I do think often patience is required, and other times you should really step back yourself and say, what am I so great? Am I so great that I get to be angry at people? I get to be angry at this person who's done so much and promised so much to me and has put so much trust in me? Because really, when it comes right down to it, if somebody agrees to marry you, that is the ultimate trust. That is the ultimate in appreciation for you as a person. And if you can betray that, well, I don't know what that says about you, but it can't be anything good. So fill your heart up with gratitude. And I've had 10 years to be grateful, and I'm more grateful for it now than ever before. So I always say that my marriage gets stronger. It doesn't get weaker. When I hear about people say, oh, we just drifted apart, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. If that person is in your life another day, you should be closer. And if you're not closer, then that's something wrong with your mind. That's something wrong with you. So you're not living in a state of gratitude for that person. And because you're not living in a state of gratitude for that person, you've allowed that person to you push that person away, or you haven't dedicated enough resources into that relationship, and now you're in trouble. But let me tell you something. As you get older, the idea that you can start over, it's just not accurate. There's no way you can do at 50 what you did at 20. It's not enough time. There's not enough time to build up those memories and to build up that relationship. You just can't do it. I mean, I suppose if your wife dies, your husband dies or something, you might not have any choice. You might be pushed into that situation. But if not, you really ought to save what's there. You ought to fill your heart with gratitude for this person. Remember that this person, even if it was a long time ago, put all the trust in the world in you, that you would do everything in your power to make them happy. I try to live by that every day. I try. I don't know, I succeed, but I try. And so anyway, that's my thoughts today on my 10th wedding anniversary, here at the end of civilization. And thank you for listening. And as always, God bless you.